He wants to get on with it, but of course if he misses here, Liverpool, against all the odds, have won the Champions League. Shevchenko, Dudek saves for Liverpool! And against all the odds, the team who were 3-0 down at half-time, Liverpool have won the Champions League. Walk on with hope in your heart. This is amazing, a night they will never forget. Liverpool are champions of Europe.
The 2005 Champions League final in Istanbul. Well, one man had a particular reason for that to be a night he'd never forget, and his story has now become the subject of a play. It's called Beating Berlusconi, and its premiere performance will be tonight. We're joined by Mark Radley, a cobbler, key cutter and Liverpool fan, and by John Graham Davies, a playwright and actor. Good morning to you both.
Morning, Edward.
Good morning.
Mark Radley, let me get this story straight. It was half-time, you were a bit depressed because Liverpool were well down at that stage, and you made your way into the AC Milan VIP box, helped yourself to a bit of food and drink, is that right?
Totally by chance and accident, I wasn't a little bit disappointed. I was very disappointed, should we say. And the champagne that wetted my lips on that night certainly helped a little bit, but I was still very distraught. And
then you saw an empty seat and thought you'd sit down and watch the next bit of the match.
It was certainly more of a comfortable seat. The people around me didn't seem too comfortable that I was sat there, but certainly the gentleman next to me seemed to make a bit of a joke about it.
The gentleman next to you, of course, turned out to be none other than Silvio Berlusconi.
That's right, yeah.
Did you? Well, you didn't know, did you, who it was?
I didn't know, no, I certainly didn't know. I'd say the people around him were sort of trying to stop me from sitting there. He wanted to make a bit of a joke about it, and it was only later that I found out who he was.
And what, did you talk to each other? How did you interact?
He was sort of giving me sort of sign signals of the 3-0 gesture and sort of tapping me on the leg and sort of making a joke of obviously our team being down, and he was trying to mock me, so to speak, and as obviously our goals went in, his attitude changed, to say the least.
Did he sort of take you on, poke you a bit as Liverpool began to succeed?
The first goal goes in, I think he just thinks it's a consolation goal, so he's still smirking. The second goal goes in, I'd say the first goal goes in, I'm jumping up and down and realise exactly where I was because nobody else seemed to be celebrating around me. The second goal goes in, I thought I'd best sit on my hand here, for safety reasons. The third goal's in. There's no way I can contain myself after being 3-0 down, and I'm really enjoying the moment. And until I get sort of a bit poking in the back shoulder blades, and as I turn around, that finger's then jibed me right in the centre of the chest, quite viciously. And this gentleman's face has certainly changed from how it was a few moments earlier.
And the finger belongs to the future, or perhaps he was Italian Prime Minister then, indeed.
He certainly was, and he's changed a little bit. I may add, certainly that facelift has seemingly done him a few favours, but certainly take the crease out of his face after seeing the 3 goals go in anyway, you know.
John Graham Davies, you chanced upon this story, I think, because Mark Radley mends your shoes. Is that right?
That's right, yeah, we knew each other. We used to chat about footy. I'm just an embittered Huddersfield Town fan, so we used to chat about that, and he'd take the mick. And then obviously after the game I called in and congratulated him and said, obviously you saw it, and he said, well, I was there. I said, oh, it must have been amazing. And he said, well, it was amazing, but this weird thing happened, and he told me the whole story. He hasn't actually told you all of it, because the Turkish security who pulled him away from Berlusconi's guards, who came to Berlusconi's rescue and pulled their guns, the Turks took him away, and they thought he must be a Liverpool VIP, because he's in the AC Milan VIP, and they put him in the Liverpool VIP, sat him down with all his boyhood heroes, so he watched the extra time and the penalties with them. So it becomes even more... So he told me the story, and it went from there.
A fantastic night, Mark Radley, apart from presumably the guns pointing at you.
Yeah, I'm obviously still lucky to be here, but I'm enjoying this moment. It's fantastic.
John Graham Davies, apart from it being a very engaging pub story, if you like, what was it that made you think it could make a play?
Well, I'm you probably tell I'm not from Liverpool. I came here about 6 or 7 years ago, but I've always been fascinated by the city, and I lived through the 80s and 90s, and it was a very interesting city at that time because it always seemed to me to be a kind of barometer for social discontent. And I've written a story about a Liverpool fan through his life from the late 70s, growing up, his parents splitting up because of the social problems associated with the 80s, unemployment and so on, tracing his life as a fan, the ups and downs, and interlaced with that is is this story. Is he going to get to the match? Is his wife going to leave him if he goes? Can he raise the money? What happens when he gets there? And then, of course, the Berlusconi climax.
So, Mark Radley, not only have you had this extraordinary meeting with an international politician, you've now become a sort of parable for our times.
Well, you could say so. I mean, it's quite,
how do you feel about that?
It's just overwhelming, and say to have a player out about it. A lot of people can't say that happens, and I'm actually having people coming into my shop, my business, high class, and asking for my autograph. And yeah, people seem to be recognising my face because it's been over the local press, etc. And now I'm speaking to you guys nationally, so it's a bit overwhelming. And I'm going to obviously enjoy the premiere tonight at the Nova Theatre, and yeah, it's overwhelming, but fantastic. Thank you.
Well, I hope the play goes well. Mark Radley, John Graham Davies, thank you both.